Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net. Today we are speaking to Representative Tom Morrison and speaking to the state of the state. And obviously our pensions are a huge part of the crisis. But during the break, Tom, we were talking about some other things in Illinois that are problematic.
Right.
And why things don't ever get done in Illinois because of the political cycle. Can we talk a little more about that?
I think we probably should talk about pensions, because something is, I know a lot of our listeners are suburbanites, or some are in the city of Chicago, but a lot of suburbanites need to know what might be coming in the next couple of weeks on pensions. There's been a lot of talk in the news recently. The governor talked about it this past Wednesday night, that we may see some pension cost shifting onto the local school districts as a means of solving the crisis. And so that would, again, force property taxes to go even higher. So they need to be aware about that. If they're
but now, if they go to the local school districts, that will be going to the local property taxpayer, which then might be able to get more engaged at their local school district level to tell them to, hey, cut the spending, stop the insanity.
Hold the phone here. The K-12 pension problem is something in the order, depending on whether you accept the crummy figures from the union people, which are unbelievable, but the smallest deficit that we've got in the pension thing is around $80 billion. That's just for the K-12 system. Now that is beyond payment. No chance ever going to be paid. So you got Madigan, last year he ran a bill for $3.7 billion to pour money into the pension system to pay these outrageous $200,000-300,000 a year pensions. So he did that, and he didn't pay the bills for the people that are in hospitals and other places where it'd be the more justified bills. But no, he had to go please the damned unions, and he put us $3.7 billion further in the hole. And it isn't that we haven't been paying enough to do these pensions, because it was back, I think, in 1995 that the crazy handling of the pensions by the union that continually raised up all of this money and fed the money into Madigan. Not that there's anything illegal in that. Perfectly wonderful that Madigan gets like $1 million and his daughter gets another $1 million in recent years to run their political campaigns, which is what keeps them abusing the public, is the money they get from the union, which comes out of the dues of the teachers. So you got this immense amount of money, and so the whole thing ran crazy and couldn't be paid by the local people, and so the pension thing got shoved off to the state around 1995. It outran the local ability. Now these twits down there, Madigan, you're in charge and you own this piece of crap. And now they want to turn around and shove it back to the locals.
Right.
Well, la-di-da. Who built this thing? It's the unions and Madigan, and they took it in and they ran crazy with it all these years. And you've got the pensions that are out of reason for anybody, with the result that the teachers who thought they were going to get fat pensions are now maybe going to get nothing or a lot less. And their own union is what precipitated this thing that has ruined the state of Illinois. It's the biggest, worst debt we've got.
Do you think that this will get
and they're going to put it back to the locals?
Right.
That's impossible.
Well,
What are you going to do with the taxes on the homes when this $80 billion, and it's really more like $150 billion, and you're going to put that back to the locals and the homeowners? Well, they ought to know how to react to the voting and get rid of Madigan and the stinking unions and all of the people that have been doing this.
Yeah.
What type of support is this bill having?
Well, there's a working group right now. You had asked during the break, if we had some specific bill numbers. We really haven't seen anything. That's been kind of frustrating, because it's an election year. So you have with the primary election, there was a lot of attention on that. No one wanted to look at a bill or look at specifics until after the primary. Now we're past the primary. We're all ready to move, or at least some of us are ready to move, hey, let's solve this problem, the longer we wait, the worse it gets.
Right.
Yeah.
And
It's all about politics, not really about legislation at
Right.
this point. It's plain
Now,
politics, but not serving the folks.
That's
it's
right.
Getting
I mean,
elected again.
Yes, yeah. Hard decisions have to be made. There's a number of us who are willing to do that, take the hard vote. If I don't win re-election, so be it. The people have spoken.
You've
Right.
got, I know
political
you,
will, Tom.
you've got guts, and what you're saying is the truth, and you're on the good side of this whole thing. There's an election coming up here, and there's a big difference between Republicans and Democrats. The Democrats have been in charge of Chicago and the governor's office and the House and the Senate. They own this blooming problem. They're the ones that are sucking up the money off of the teachers into the hands of the union, into the politics of the Democrats. That's why they've got political control. We got an election coming up here, and by golly, everybody ought to vote. Just clean out the
Clean it
Democrats.
out.
They own this problem.
Elections
They ought to
have
get rid of them.
consequences.
As long as
Yes.
Madigan's there, we'll never solve it.
And you know what? I know that we need to talk about the elections, but real quick, we have about 5 seconds here. Medicaid's also a problem.
Oh yeah, it's pensions and Medicaid are the two biggest drivers of the state budget, and they're both out of control and need to be fixed.